They told us to keep our hearts light as a feather. But how are we supposed to do that when the weight of life is just too heavy? When the weight of rent, when the weight of racism, when the raw reality of everyday life is just too heavy? How are you supposed to keep your heart light as a feather? Because I think it's important to understand that light is not just the absence of heaviness. Light is also the presence of divine frequency. When you don't have that heaviness of the weight of the world, you are in your divine frequency. How when your grandmother is humming or singing when she's cooking in the kitchen, how your kids get to laughing and giggling when they're running around playing. In that moment, their heart is light as a feather. In that moment, they are in their divine frequency. And that's where we should strive to be. Because they don't want us there. They want us heavy. They want our hearts heavy. They want us trapped in our thoughts. They want us stuck in our fears. They want us worried and stressing about credit scores, court dates, climate change. They even want us worried that one day our dreams will never come true. Either way, they just want us worried. But let me tell you, listen, we were not meant to pay bills forever. The melanated body was never meant to be a beast of burden for America, which was built on stolen land anyway. We are not the tools or products of capitalism. What we are is so much more than that. You are not just black. Your physical body is literally made of stardust. What you are in the non-physical is literally an infinitely expanding consciousness. You are a walking library of galaxies. You are coated with the frequencies of now-born gods and cosmic griots. You were not made just to be a worker for their system. You want to ascend? You got to remember. You got to remember that Ma'at is not just a myth. She was the law of balance, the sacred scale between rage and radiance. And your heart is her altar. So I ask you, what is weighing you down? What bitterness have you accepted as your personality? What grief have you hoarded as your birthright? You see, the colonizer's greatest weapon was not the gun. It was the lie that God lived up in the sky somewhere, and that peace was earned through suffering, and that somehow joy was a sin. But our ancestors knew better, and they laughed around the fires while the chains clanked in the distance. They sang code into hymns and turned plantations into portals. They bent physics with drum beats, and they made joy a rebellion. And you see, America don't want you to know that. The system depends on your depression. It feeds on your anxiety like a vampire, because it knows that if your heart ever gets light again, then you'll rise above their matrix like smoke from sacred sage. So let it go. Let go of the illusion that control is safety. Let go of the narrative that trauma is your whole story. You gotta let go and let God. And no, not some old white man in a cloud, but the God that is you. The I am pulsing in your bloodstream. The sacred fractal of the Most High that exists within you. That sacred fractal of the Most High that is disguised in your smile, your swagger, even your survival. So yes, the world is on fire. Oceans are swallowing cities. The skies are coughing up dust and spitting out rainstorms. Everybody knows the economy is a scam, and America ain't nothing but a crumbling theme park with broken rides and a haunted mascot. But here's the thing. The universe has always known chaos before creation. And you were born now for a reason. Not to suffer, but to transmute. To turn sorrow into song. To turn fear into flight. To turn this broken world into a blooming garden with your vibration. So keep your heart light. Not because life is light, but because you refuse to let the heaviness of life dim you. You have to laugh like your soul still remembers the language of the stars. You have to dance like your melanin is made of solar panels. You have to rest like your spirit knows that the war is already won. Because when you keep your frequency high, the demons can't reach you. Their curses just bounce off you. And their chaos becomes background noise. And you become untouchable. And you become divine. You become free. So when they ask you, why are you smiling while the world ends? You got to look them dead in the eye and say, because I am the beginning. Because I remember who I am. Because my heart is light. And that's enough to fly.